I'd like to call Criminal Justice Committee to order on March 22nd, 2021. We have a quorum with Leggett, Shepler, Strauss, Diamond, and Driscoll. We need a motion to approve minutes of prior committee meetings.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Supervisor Shepler, second by Supervisor Diamond. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We will first hear assigned counsel. We're going to have Joyce Fountain come up here and present the agenda to us. There are 4 items on our agenda
Here.
for consideration.
Good morning.
Good morning,
Morning.
Joyce.
Nice to meet you finally.
Yes.
This is one of my standard go-rounds, contract renewal for Legal Aid Society. Can I take this off?
Yes, I think you can. Thank you.
Standard renewal contract for Legal Aid Society to be our conflict defender. Numbers have changed. 2 more grants that need permission to pass through for payouts. And everything's pretty much listed. Do you want me to read the entire agenda?
So let's then start with, and then add for supervising attorney contract is your last item, right?
Okay. The last
Okay.
one is addition of Attorney Secure Pass, which is, as I suspected, Craig, and confirmed that it is for entry in and out of secure facilities,
Okay.
whether it be courts and or correctional facilities, and notary fees and professional organization dues.
Okay.
That needs to be added to the current contract.
Okay, let's start with the first one here with contract change with Legal Aid Society of New York.
The change is the money.
Okay,
Last year was, somehow there was something missed. It was paid out at 169 and change a year. It was supposed to be for 2 years. So I backed it off and broke it up into a mid-range so that it would lessen the hit and also continue the service.
okay. And it looks like, going by your resolutions here, Resolution 330 of 2017, that year we were paying $124,718. This year, next year, it'll be $145,400. Is that correct?
186 to 219 was the current amount of 169 per year. So the new one will be not half that, but 290, which is 145 for a year.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. Which, you know, I was just going off of the 2017 to get a little trend for the
The
expense
uptick.
increase, and it's only been about 4% a year, it seems to
Right.
be.
Yep, that's about right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any questions from committee members? Let's have a motion to bring it to the floor. Supervisor Driscoll, second by Supervisor Diamond. Thank you. Discussion on this? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, call the question moved. Thank you. Number 2?
This is another payout for an oils grant, contract number 8052. There's also, the second one is for number 10, and there's specific monies laid out by the oils contract for case management, personnel services, and OTPS.
The OT.
Other than personal services?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Motion to bring it to the floor
So moved.
by Supervisor Shepler, second by Supervisor Driscoll. Discussion. How much longer on this grant on the 8?
I think we have 3 years on the Harrell Herring funds, but there's been so many extensions to the old grants, I can honestly not give you an accurate answer, because there's how many of them, Marcy? 11. Yeah,
Okay.
that's outside my wheelhouse a bit.
Any other questions? Hearing none, call the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, question is moved. Number 3, this is to authorize an agreement with Legal Aid Society of Northeastern New York.
Number 10, the same as number 8.
Okay? But, bring it to the floor. Supervisor Driscoll, second by Supervisor Shepler. Any questions on this one? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Question is moved. Next one is to add following language to amended contract. Marcy, would you like?
That's for the organization, professional organization dues, attorney secure pass, and notary fees. Needs to be added to the contract to make sure that it doesn't appear that these attorneys are getting, what did we call them, Tammy? They weren't getting like a bonus or something? What?
It was to entice attorneys to your panel so that they would serve on the panel.
Right, but it's got to be in the supervising attorney's contract because he gets that benefit also, but it's not technically a benefit. It's totally covered by the funds that cover his position.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is to clarify the language. There's
Correct.
no money involved.
Correct.
Okay. Bring it to the floor. Supervisor Diamond, thank you. Supervisor Shepler on the second. Any other questions? Hearing none, call it. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joy.
Have a good day.
Will do. Next up, we have Public Defender. Marcy, you have the floor.
Thank you. Good morning. The first thing I'd like to do is make a request to amend the current LexisNexis resolution outside the contract. What happens is there's a contract.
If you're comfortable,
It's
you
okay, I can take that off. Thank
It
you.
really helps on the speaker.
No problem. Is that better now, sir?
It is here. I think
Okay,
it really
great.
shows up when you're on Zoom.
No problem. So the first thing I'd like to do is talk about the current LexisNexis contract and a request to change it. The reason being, LexisNexis is our search engine for legal research. The county pays a 1% in terms of a certain amount because that was from our original contract. The rest is all paid by Office of Indigent Legal Services. The reason the rationale to change this is there is some research that we need to do that is not covered within our contract. It's unusual. Last year, there was one thing we needed researched, which is the legislative history of a law, and it doesn't fall within our contract. So what we do is we have money from Office of Indigent Legal Services to pay for this. So if you look at the resolution, it sets a cap at the amount that we can pay, and it will be only covered by Office of Indigent Legal Services funding. So it's kind of a thing, a one-time thing when we need it. We don't need it all the time. So that's the purpose of that.
And do you pay for it if you need it or not?
We only pay for it if we need it. It is on a per diem basis.
Motion, bring it to the floor. Supervisor Diamond, Supervisor Shepler on the second. Thank you. Any further discussion on this?
It's not to exceed 1,700.
Correct.
Thank you.
Okay. I'll call the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? Motion carries. Thank you.
Next thing is to amend current public defender case management system. That's our case tracking system. The contract has changed because we're getting a lot more, we have more users than we did before. The increase is going to be paid for by Office of Indigent Legal Services. It is not paid for by the county, and we have grant funding for it. And so as the contract goes forward, that's why we need to pay for this, so that my attorneys and staff members can look up cases, do data entries, and with the case tracking system, we are putting more information into that, and that's going to be our location where we're going to be holding some of our discovery, goes into that section. So that becomes important. And again, it's all paid for by Office of Indigent Legal Services, not by the county.
Thank you. Motion brings to the floor. Supervisor Shepler, second by Supervisor Diamond. Thank you. Tell us more about holding this for discovery. Was that a feature you had before?
No, it's something that we're starting to do, and because an issue that I have to bring up later on talks about digitalization of the office, and that issue becomes important. There's a storage problem in the basement. They can't hold all our files, and so there's things we need to do as a result because we can't store the physical files. We don't have a place for it. So that's a topic for later, and if you don't mind me bringing that up later, or you want me to go into all of that now?
Bring it up later.
Okay, thank you, sir.
That will be great, and then we can
Okay.
discuss the whole discovery a little bit more at that point.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you. Any other discussion on this motion? Hearing none, call the question. All those in favor? Say
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
My next thing is a discussion item. I just wanted to let you know that we've been using Office of Indigent Legal Services funding to pay for attorneys to go to training. I had Sean Duhaney do a training, a Zoom one out of New York State Defenders Association, and then I was able to send 4 attorneys to a week-long New York State Trial Academy. It cost almost $4,000 to do it. Again, it was all paid by Office of Indigent Legal Services. So I just wanted to let you know that they had a 5-day training, trial training, and it's the first one we've had since COVID. Some of them were scheduled before COVID to do this program like this, but because of COVID, everything shut down. This is the first time a trial training program has occurred. It has them practice doing an opening, a closing, cross-examination, direct, all aspects of a trial, an expert, cross-examining an expert, putting on direct evidence for an expert. So it's a really good, intensive, week-long course, and I just wanted to let you know that some of the funding went towards that. And when I created the grant positions, we put funding in for training, so I wanted you to know what we're doing with it, okay?
Good. Marcy,
Mhm.
on that, was it practical hands-on or? Yes.
Yes, so they're given a fact pattern of, this is the case that you're working on, and you have to do, and they're told to do a direct or a cross or whatever it is, and then they have attorneys critique them, who are experienced trial attorneys critique them. So it's a really good program. So it's good if you're a beginning attorney or if you're more experienced attorney. You get hints and you get techniques, so it makes them better attorneys.
And how did you select the 4? Because now, how many attorneys do you have now?
I have 9 attorneys plus myself, and so I did the last 4 in, because those were the ones who the funding would have gone to first for doing the program.
Thank you.
So that was, I just wanted to bring you up to speed on that. In terms of number 2, ILS claims, I just wanted to let you know here, for claims, we filed $500,000 worth of claims through ILS. So I wanted to let you know that we are doing what we need to do, but we never talk about how much money I actually use up, and I thought it was important for you to know what last year's claims were. Okay, the next one is the really important issue, storage issue. The record room downstairs obviously only has so much space, and the law requires that our files be kept for 80 years. Okay, that doesn't work downstairs because there's not enough space. The basement isn't growing. So as a result, my office has had to work with Pam Vogel in the record room and coming up with solutions. Prior to COVID, we discussed digitalization of my files. And it requires us, and we purchased through ILS, all through ILS funding, we purchased a scanner and a copier, and I have, so we have to do that with our files. The family court files have to be held for 80 years because it has to go until the youngest person is age 21 who is in the case. So those files have to stay downstairs, and Pam Vogel is willing to accept those. However, my criminal files could be retained only for 6 years if we have specific direction from the client allowing us to scan them and to destroy them and just save them digitally. So we have created last year, with the help of the county attorney and Pam Vogel, we drafted documentation for clients to sign. And then COVID happened. So we're not seeing the clients as much, so it makes it harder to get forms signed. So Ms. Vogel indicated she will accept files in the basement that are family court files and our files where we have the forms signed, that we will destroy them after 6 years.
For
6 years.
For the criminal or?
For criminal for 6 years, family court for 80. Okay, because we can't get around that statute. So 80, yeah. So this is a problem. So what we have done, we've reached out to Kevin Hajos, and we have looked at the basement. And in the basement, there is a storage area where they have Christmas trees and a storage area where they have lockers for the night crew. And Kevin indicated as a temporary basis, if I could get on the facilities committee for tomorrow, hint, hint, I'd like to be on the facilities committee for tomorrow, to discuss using that space for storage. Because right now, my conference room / storage room, I have no more place to put my files because I have files that are closed and I need to put the new files somewhere. So what my intention would
And those are the files in your office?
in my office currently. So the problem is, what am I going to do with my files? Where can I put it? And there's space in the basement. We don't have to renovate. It is 2 office spaces, locking door. We will purchase with ILS locking file cabinets, so the files will stay locked, so at least we can move our stuff downstairs, so I can put the current files upstairs where they need to be until we scan. So that's part one of it. So I've dealt with the county attorney and the records room with Pam Vogel. I understand the constraints, and we're trying to come up with a solution. And I appreciate Kevin Hajos indicating that we have this space that we could move the stuff that's there now and at least give you some place to put your stuff for now. It's not the full solution. So the full solution would be when, in my opinion, having had a discussion with Mr. Hajos, is that after the construction is done that is going on through the court wing, when all that is done, then the night crew would be able to move out of this space where they're holding, where I guess meetings are held for the committees for the renovation and some other stuff. It's the old Frank Morehouse office where Lee Molinari used to be, the 2 of them in the basement. There's a big room there. My goal would be then to get that space, don't need to renovate it, and set it up as a workstation for a secretary, because I'm putting in for a grant application to have a secretary for digitalization, because we have to move this stuff. We've got to do something with it. So part of the issue of digitalization is I need a place to put a secretary to do it. I need a body to do it. And I need the workstation for it. And I need places, file cabinets to put the stuff in. So that is my long-term goal. So the short-term goal is if I get on facilities for tomorrow, maybe I could request these 2 office spaces to buy file cabinets, put them in there, so I at least get my files in place, so it's out of Pam Vogel, because she can't take these. This is the stuff she can't take.
So some of the timing then will be on an oils grant that could cover the secretary for the digitalization?
Correct. So that will be something that I'm exploring with oils already. I've had discussions with them. They're very supportive of it. Again, I know I have to go through all the steps for hiring a new person and all that stuff. It would be a clerical, my low-level clerical staff, exact same position that I have now for one. And again, that would be all funded by Office of Indigent Legal Services, county funding for that. So I just wanted to give you, I'd like to come here and tell you what the plans are in the future, not just today. But the issue for today is I have a storage problem. Could I request those 2 office spaces in the basement without having to do any work on them?
Well, let us know how we can help you
Okay.
with that.
Okay. So my request would be to move this topic to the committee for tomorrow.
So is that possible? Okay. So noted.
That's it.
Thank you, Marcy.
Thank you. Is there anything else anybody wants to discuss with me?
Let's see, privilege of the floor and public comment. Let's see if there is any. Don?
Morning, Chairman Leggett. There's no public comment at this time.
Okay, thank you. Marcy, we're all set.
Thank you. I just wanted to give you one piece of information when you were talking about Joy's Distribution 8 and Distribution 11. This Distribution 8 is now becoming Distribution 11.
Oh.
So it's giving it a new number, and the funds that were for 8 roll over into 11. So it is very difficult to follow, because on 8, we got that one, but we didn't get it the year it was created. We got it 2 years after, a year and a half later. So I understand why Joy, if I don't have the crib sheet in front of me for each one, I wouldn't be able to tell you when one started and when one ended. They're just really complicated.
Right, I remember your spreadsheets that you include to have all the listings of all the years and who's,
Yeah.
what's,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
good. Well, thanks for keeping
Okay.
track of all that.
Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good day.
Have a good
Thank
day.
you for your help.
Thank you, Marcy.
Thank you.
Anything else to come before the Criminal Justice Committee at this time? Hearing none, motion to adjourn, please. Supervisor Diamond, Supervisor Shepler on the second. Thank you both. All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting closed.
Is that coming through,